Well, welcome everyone. I see a lot of faces that I've taken around on tours and everything, which is super. And we're going to learn all about kindergarten today. And we have Mark Hansen and Brelly Fahrenkopf and Molly Murphy, who's one of our kindergarten teachers. So we've got all the pros here in the chat room. I do want to remind everybody, please put any questions in, and we'll address all of those as well. And we'll just get started. I'll turn it over to Mark, I guess usually starts, head of school. So Mark, have at it this morning.
Thank you, Debbie, and good morning, and thanks for joining us early on a Friday morning. And my name is Mark Hansen, and I'm the head of lower school here at Columbus Academy. And you'll have to excuse our presenters. We're dressed a little casual today because it's a dress down day. So yesterday was an all day for CA, and kids could wear all sorts of any sort of school spirit wear that they could think of, and the colors of maroon and gray. And today is a dress down day. So the kids were very excited to think of wear jeans and different things today, as were the faculty and staff. So, but thanks for joining us to learn a little bit more about our kindergarten program. And this has been a very different year, I'm sure, for you as well, with your children and wherever they may be in school or not in school. But it's been like none other and that we've experienced, certainly. And, you know, from all of our virtual meetings to very limited time being able to be on campus. And so I just wanted to talk briefly about just kind of sharing just one part of our commitment to our families this past year. And, you know, a year ago, we were in the throes of this awful pandemic. And, you know, the governor had said we were going to be online for the rest of the year. And so we moved to online, of course, like all the other schools did. But we soon started planning for what school could look like in the fall. And we started off with seven scenarios. The best one was everybody's on school, no masks, no restrictions, everything's like a normal year. Two, we're fully online and starting that way. And we had all the different steps and what we would have to do. But the commitment was, if the governor would allow schools to open, we wanted to open. And so we did everything possible. And I'm glad and proud to say we've been open since the first day. And we've had, you know, an incredible year because our students, we knew that our students, they learn best, our teachers teach best when we are on campus and all together. And the energy that children bring to a school just can't be matched in a Zoom meeting hour after hour. And so we did so many things that to enable that. And that's our commitment. We went from 28 homeroom classes to 45. We added 17 new sections because we could only have so many students, very few students in a classroom. We have an average of 10 in a classroom this year. We have a low of 5 in our Explorer, our 3-year-old program, up to the maximum. We have 12 students in a 5th grade classroom. So we you know, changed filtration systems. We did all the necessary things that the American Academy of Pediatrics said we should do. And it's been a terrific year. And it's wonderful. Brelly and I, we come in from Carline every morning, and, you know, we just finished up right before this meeting. And the energy you get when kids are hopping out of their cars, excited for the day, and racing into the building is just can't be matched. So we are really excited about the coming year, next year, and welcoming you to campus. And of course, we are planning that we are going back to a normal setting of homerooms. And my guess is we'll likely be in masks still, but many of the restrictions seem to be, we'll be able to move from. And of course, we'll continue to inform families and you over the summer if anything changes. But just know our commitment has always been what's best for kids. And what's best for kids is to be in school with their teachers, learning and having meaningful experiences and fun together. So I'm going to turn it over now to Brelly Fahrenkopf, and she's our associate head of lower school and also the director of the early childhood program. So she oversees the Explorer program, the pre-kindergarten, and the kindergarten program. So good morning, Brelly.
Hi, thanks, Mark. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us this morning. It's a fabulous Forest Friday here in the lower school. We're excited that you're joining the early childhood program. As Mark said, we have our Explorer program, our pre-K program, and then today we're going to be talking about our kindergarten. We're looking forward to welcoming you and your children on campus next fall. Fingers crossed, we're going to be back into a normal setting. We hope you learn a lot today from Molly about all of the things that your child will experience next year in terms of curriculum and activities. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Molly. Molly is our kindergarten team leader, and she is going to take you through a slide presentation that I am going to try to share right now. Let's see. Let's see. Okay.
Thanks, Bradley.
You bet. All right. Is it up, Molly? Here it's come. I think it's coming.
Loading. We're getting there.
Ta-da!
There we go. Thank you. As Bradley said, my name is Molly Murphy, and next year will be my 4th year here at Academy. I've been teaching kindergarten for 22 years, so obviously I love it. And my time here at Academy has been pretty amazing. I have 2 children. They both attend here as well. My daughter will be in 6th grade and my son will be in 2nd grade. We're going to start by talking about the flow of the day. And schedule is very important. Schedule and routine are both very important. And the children learn our routine pretty quickly. We have letter days, as you can see. And so on any given letter day, we have different specials. And so even though our daily routine is the same, sometimes our schedule will be a little bit different. And I'll give you an example of a sample day in kindergarten. The children will arrive, and there's some sort of check-in process just so that we know it helps the teachers and the children communicate how they'll be going home at the end of the day. And they let us know with a chart or with magnets or something, whether they will be taking the bus or going home in carpool or some other way. And then they come in and they'll do their morning work. And after everybody gets there and is settled, we'll have what's called a morning meeting. And I'll talk more about that later in the meeting. And the morning meeting is a way to start our day as a community. I wanted to update there for a second. And then after the morning meeting, that's when we start some sort of academic work time. And depending on the schedule, it will be sometimes a reading rotation or it'll be a math rotation. For a reading rotation, we follow a reader's workshop type model. And during that time, the children can work in small groups. They can work independently. They can conference with the teacher and they can work on writing. Usually in the morning, then there'll be some sort of special. And our specials are library, science, Spanish, PE, music, swimming, wellness, and art. And of course, we don't do those all in one day. They're staggered throughout the letter day cycle. So we'll go to a special usually in the morning, say we go to swimming, then they come back and we'll do like a lunch and recess time for them. And then when they come back in the afternoon, they may have another special. Then we'll do another academic time with the math or the reading or the writing. We have time for theme activities. And we also try to make time for extra outdoor time. It's very important, we find at this age, that they get a lot of gross motor time. And we're on this beautiful campus with these woods and lots of space for them to run and play. So we try to take advantage of that when we can. Okay, next slide, please. Thank you. And this is some slides of some of the kids reading. You know, within our reading rotation, we set it up, we first established stamina, and we explained to the kids, you know, what does it mean to read to self? It's a quiet time. We have to respect others and their quiet reading time. But we also at some point introduced reading to a friend. We haven't done any of that this year, but you know, during typical times, we teach them how to read to each other. They can ask each other questions. And we assess the children, and so we make sure they're reading at a level that's comfortable for them. With having the one-on-one with the teacher, the guided reading groups, reading on their own, they get a lot of exposure to literature and reading. And the only homework, well, we have 2 types of homework. The first one we're going to talk about, it's just reading with your child. We have them starting, you know, maybe 6 weeks after we start school. We have a good idea of where they are and what they've been practicing. So we will send 2 to 3 books home a week. And these are books for your child to read to you. In the beginning, they'll seem pretty easy because we want them to build confidence and be successful. And then you'll see as they bring these books home, we try to match books, with their interests. We let them pick out books, maybe books on things that we're studying and our themes. So it's a really valuable experience for your child, and you see so much growth when they're able to share their reading at home. As for writing, writing is incorporated throughout the entire curriculum. And in the beginning, we're working on forming of the letters, using a line, and we swiftly move into the mechanics of writing, and we want them to see, we write from left to right, start to notice using spaces, capitalization, punctuation, and we use writing in different ways. We have creative writing time where it's journaling, and it's like their time, their quiet 10 to 15 minutes to write whatever they want, to write as much as they want. We have more structured writing where we give them a prompt and we give them guidelines. Here's what we expect. Of course, in the beginning, there's a lot of labeling, 1 and 2 word sentences. But at this point in the year, they are writing sentences and paragraphs. And, as a teacher, we can differentiate. Some kids are writing 5 and 6 sentences. Some kids are writing 1 and 2 sentences. But everybody's using spacing, everybody's using punctuation, and everyone is trying their best. And that's what we're trying to achieve. For math, we use the Envisions 2.0 curriculum, and that's a curriculum that starts in kindergarten and it will follow them through 5th grade. And so in kindergarten, we are laying the groundwork for what's to come, if you will, in 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. It's very concrete, and as teachers, we have the liberty to, incorporate hands-on experiences, using shaving cream to write your numbers, using Wiki sticks to form your numbers. When we were in the woods, we were looking for solid figures and flat figures. So we try to, coupled with the Envisions 2.0, still have those hands-on activities for them to do. Okay, this is an example of what a morning meeting looked like last year in the beginning of the year. We come together as a community every morning, and the morning meeting has 4 components. Those components are a greeting, a morning message, an activity, and a sharing. And those vary from day to day. The morning message is important. It's in writing, it's usually in the teacher's writing, and it's the children learn to read the words because we try to use consistent phrasing. And it tells them about their day most of the time, what specials they're going to have, if there's going to be a special activity. So the morning message is something they look forward to every day. And then the activities and the sharing are different. It can be some sort of hand clap or song for an activity, and a sharing can be, if you could pack your own lunch, what would you put in it? I mean, that was one of my favorites this year. So it's a lot of fun, and they expect it. So, and it's something that we do every day. In kindergarten, we have various theme activities, and these are some projects that we've done. If you see the turkey dressed up as an astronaut, that's one of the take-home projects. It's a family activity. We give you the basic materials and the guidelines, and then as a family, you get to create your turkey. And this is our first take-home project. We do it in the fall, and then they bring them in and they get to share how they created their turkey. Okay, and you can see there's also a police officer. And I didn't take a picture of all of them, but there's a cat, and they're all so different, and they have so much fun seeing each other's, and they have so much fun sharing. And the same thing with the American flag project. You see that picture? We give them basic guidelines, be creative, use whatever materials you want. And this child made theirs out of pipe cleaners. And she was excited to share, and they thought the shiny pipe cleaners were so cool. But this is another family project. And then down at the bottom is an ocean watercolor collage. And right now we are studying the ocean. And so we try to incorporate some fun activities along with, we are doing ocean animal research right now. So we're to the point in the year where we can learn about an animal, write some facts about it, and then write a paragraph. And they're having a lot of fun with that. These are some pictures from Forest Friday. Forest Friday is probably one of our favorite things in kindergarten. And every Friday, we get to spend the day learning in the woods. And it's really child-centered learning. It's child-directed. And as teachers, it's our job to help them find the perfect spot for that day, make sure they've got all their gear on, and then really the exploring is up to them. As you can see in the picture on the left, those are some of my kids building a structure. I mean, they'll spend over an hour just collecting long branches and seeing how large of a structure they can build. And they're balancing and they're having a conversation and they're planning. And, you know, it's really amazing to see the teamwork. And then up there is a picture of some of my friends. They found this really awesome tree and they all just plopped down and I said, don't move. And I took a picture. And, you know, that was another beautiful day in the woods. And then you see the turtle. We were out one day and I heard a bunch of squealing and I ran down there and they were in the creek and there was a snapping turtle there. And of course, we all you know, we got away, we got safely out of his way. But it's just an example of some of the amazing things that we see out there. And it's just such a valuable thing for them and for me. You know, even when it's not Forest Friday, we spend our playtime in the woods, I would say 90% of the time. To support social and emotional learning here at Academy in the lower school, we follow the acronym CARES. And CARES stands for cooperation, assertion, responsibility, empathy, and self-control. And we talk about each of those words with the kids in a real concrete way. We have books that we read that give an example of these terms. And they learn what it means to cooperate and how to be assertive, how to give your own messages. You know, we still talk about that. You know, it's okay to speak your mind. It's okay to speak up for yourself. Being responsible for your own actions, for your own items, for your own learning, being empathetic. And, you know, we talk about empathy a lot. You know, how is somebody else feeling? Is there something you can do? Is there a way you can show you support what's happening? And self-control, you know, how can we practice self-control? And that comes up throughout the day, every day. And they learn to use these terms. And it's really neat to see this time of the year. Okay, here are some pictures of some kindergartners with their senior buddies. In years past, we are able to physically hang out with our senior buddies. And what this is seniors are paired up with kindergartners, and it's kind of like a friendship mentor, you know, way for these two groups of kids to really kind of enjoy this year together. And the seniors and the kindergartners, they communicate. And on the first day of school, they get to meet at convocation. And usually there's some sort of activity following, like a cookout or something fun that they get to do together. And that's their first meeting, you know? And so that really kicks off school in a positive way. And then after that, they write letters back and forth. Once a month, we try to do some sort of activity or meeting. This year, because we couldn't meet physically, we had Zoom meetings. And I was so impressed at the maturity of the kindergartners. They were able to get on and we would say, okay, today's Zoom meeting, we're gonna make snowflakes. And they would have their supplies ready and they would get on their Zoom meeting and they would chat with their seniors and they would make snowflakes and show them to them, you know, on the iPad. But, you know, either way, the connection is just pretty amazing. And, you know, they learn to look forward to those days. I know kindergartners will want to draw them a picture just on a random free choice time. So, you know, with that, they read to each other, they do jump rope for your heart. we make sure there's a lot of opportunities for them to create that bond. This is the current kindergarten team. This year, as Mark mentioned, with having the pods, we had 6 lead teachers and 6 kindergarten classrooms total. So there's Ashley Schreiber, Diane Chapman, me, Molly Murphy, Kenny Heitenhove, Angie Blinn, and Megan Quinn. And so next year, the plan would be we would have 4 kindergarten classrooms, 4 leads, and each lead teacher works with an associate. So that would be the plan going into next year. So Mark, I didn't know if at this point we wanted to open up for questions or look at.
Absolutely. And we can, if any parents saw or you saw some things you want to learn more about, or if you have questions, this would be a perfect time to do so. And thank you very much, Molly, for sharing your slides with us.
Molly, I have one. Just I know we throw terms out there like guided reading and that kind of thing. Can you explain what that is?
Yes, guided.
Just because
Sure.
it's a buzz thing for us, but parents may not know. Thanks.
Sure. Guided reading is just a small group of children with a teacher, and they're typically at a similar reading level, and that's where we'd all read the same book. And for example, we might do a phonics activity while reading that book, or we might be identifying certain sight words within that book. So it's just kind of it's a small group activity, small group opportunity for reading within the classroom.
We're starting to get some questions in the chat. I see how many kids are in each classroom this year. So this year we have maximum of 12 children in each classroom. We were following pandemic child ratios. So 1 teacher and 12 students. Generally, a kindergarten classroom has about 16 to 18 students in it, depending on the enrollment for the school year. And again, that's with a lead teacher and an associate teacher who are both in the classroom all day. And so lots of opportunities for small group work, breaking out into, differentiating and a lot of one-on-one time for the kids to interact with the teachers. And how many senior buddies are each student assigned? So depending on the size of the classes, the senior class and the kindergarten class, each kindergartner is generally assigned to 1 or 2 senior buddies, and they stay with that same buddy through the whole school year. What other activities do they have per week in pre-K?
Molly, do you want to take this one of all your co-curricular classes that your kindergartners have?
Yes, we have library and science, Spanish, PE, music, swimming, wellness, and art. And those are scattered throughout. Did I miss any, Brelly?
No, but can you talk about the frequency of them, Molly? Like how many times you have each one?
Yes, they're scattered throughout the letter days. And so we will have usually 2 specials a day. So it just depends on what the letter day is. Like yesterday, my children had swimming in the afternoon and they had library in the morning. But they won't have swimming and library again until next week. So they don't have things like one right after another. They typically don't have more than 2 specials a day.
So then Spanish is 3 times in a regular 6-day rotation, PE twice.
PE is 3 times, library is twice, art is twice, wellness is once, swimming is once, and music is twice.
Thanks, Molly. I'm going to hop in because we use the term letter days, and that may be new to you. We have a 6-day week at Academy, and that's throughout from the Explorers all the way through grade 12. And so we use letters A, B, C, D, E, F, and that's the way the schedule is created. So, and part of the reason we don't use a Monday and Friday, and why a lot of schools have moved to this, and your child may be one if you have older children that may be in a system like this, but it's because because of holidays and different programs that are going on when school is canceled, it's often on a Friday or a Monday. So if you look at a schedule, if you are normally having a traditional, you have swimming on Friday, well, you may miss an awful lot of swimming or a Monday because of the 3-day weekends and things like that. So we use a 6-day cycle, and it's actually pretty easy. The kids learn it much earlier than we, the adults, figure it out. But they'll tell you, okay, it's B day. That means I have art and music today, and or whatever the co-curricular classes that you have.
I see a question about letter grades, and there are no letter grades in the lower school, and so there's a question about how students are assessed and how we report. Molly, do you want to talk a little bit about what that looks like in kindergarten?
Yes, like as mentioned, there are no letter grades, but we do keep track of how they are progressing, if you will. And, you know, they're all somewhere different when they come in. But the idea is that we want to identify if their skills are emerging, if they're just coming about with certain skills, if they're progressing well, if it's something where they're extending. And so what we do is we have taken our curriculum and we look at it and we break it down. And then we kind of look at what we've done with the children, and we meet with them and we conference with them and we look at their work and we say, yes, they've got a great handle on this. They're where they need to be. They're progressing. So it's more, you know, just getting insight on how they're learning, especially in kindergarten, you know, because we know they're all progressing in all areas. Some might, you know, be progressing a little more. Some might be emerging in some areas and extending in other areas. But it's more just to make sure everybody's where they need to be and on the right track.
So lots of anecdotal note taking in kindergarten, and we do have one standardized way of assessing the students. We don't start this with the kindergartners until really wintertime, but it's called the benchmark assessment. It gives us a good insight into how the children are reading and how they're starting to use strategies to solve words and move through a book. And so that is one of the tools that we can use as well for a more standardized look at literacy.
Yeah, and then we also use the ERBs, which are given in grades 3, 4, and 5. That's a standardized test that most independent schools use around the US.
There's a question about drop off and pickup and bus schedules.
I can address bus schedules just since the admissions office has kind of taken over the bus situation. If you live in one of the major school districts, at the end of the day, we have buses from Worthington, Westerville, New Albany, Gahanna, Columbus, Dublin, Olentangy. You would just call your public school system and say, my child's attending Academy next year. Where are the drop-off and pickups? And they will tell you that. Ohio is one of the best states for recognizing their obligation to transport private school kids. But if you do live somewhere like Groveport, or I lived in Big Walnut School District, and there weren't enough children to merit having a bus. So there may be some districts that don't, but all the larger ones do, and you coordinate that through calling the transportation department of your public school.
I think I saw one on pickup and drop off also from Kimberly about student drop off. So students, this year is a little different because they come at 7:40. That's the earliest they can be dropped off. We have something in a normal year. We have a program where parents can drop off students, I believe as early as 7:30, and Brelly or Debbie.
7 a.m.
7 a.m. Sorry. And there's no cost to that for those working parents that need to drop off. And it's called CASE, which is our after school and before school program. And they go down into a room and they're supervised there. And then they go to their classroom when it's the normal time. If you're dropping off in the car line, the normal time, you just drive through the car line where it's starting at 7:30, and students play out on the playground in the blacktop area until we come into the building. And then also at the end of the day, the students leave. You just come up the car line, and we have a electronic system that takes your license plate is recorded as you drive onto campus, and it shows so the teachers know when you have pulled onto campus, and then your child is dismissed from the homeroom class, and they come out and stand in a line. And this year we have these dots that keep the students 6 feet apart, and so that's what we use. It's very helpful for rainy days because then kids aren't standing outside for long periods of time. It's also helpful when it's really cold because then they stay in their classroom until you've gone through the reader, and then we dismiss.
There's a
And
question about instruments.
I'm sorry, thank you for that. Now, the after school, there is an after school program for those working parents as well. Could you just review that quickly?
Sure. Yeah, sorry, I forgot about the app. So the after school is CASE, and the students go directly from their homeroom class to the CASE room. And they often have a couple of different rooms based on ages and numbers, but that's always changed. And that is a fee service. So you fill out an application just for CASE, and you set it up if it's how many times a week it is. Also, if a child, for whatever reason, you're stuck in traffic, or you found out that you've got to stop someplace, whatever it may be, there's emergency situations. Any student that isn't, when there's no more cars in the car line, all the rest of the students go down to the CASE room. There is a fee for that, but your child will always be supervised on campus. And that a CASE stays open until 6 p.m.
Perfect, thank you. And just to go back on the school, as far as pickup location, we live within 5 minutes from the school, but we're actually listed as Westerville with Gahanna address. But so we would, if we wanted to bus, we would have to contact the transportation, the busing department to get that scheduled. So assuming there's not a private bus for Columbus Academy directly. Is that correct?
That's correct. You would contact Westerville. With my knowledge right now, with the buses, children that attend Academy are not on the bus an inordinate amount of time. In saying that, I'm trying to say that they don't stop at a bunch of Westerville schools after they pick up your child. Your child is pretty much getting picked up here and then going to the stop. So we've been lucky that way, that children aren't on a bus for an inordinate amount of time from these
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Yeah, some more questions, Brelly, I think.
Yeah, it looks like, so there's a question about studying an instrument. We do have an orchestra program in the lower school that starts with second or third grade students. And that can either be, they have already been playing or they're new to the instrument. And so more information comes out about that as the children move up through the lower school. That's the opportunity for learning an instrument in the lower school. And then starting in middle school, we have band where the children can select a range of instruments.
And correct me if I'm wrong, Brelly and Mark, I believe that you rent the instrument, but the lessons are free here?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no charge for the.
No charge for the lessons, but you rent the instrument. And they do have to take the instrument outside of school. Like, they don't have to be proficient in it when they do it. We will teach them.
Sure. Yeah, you could start as a full beginner.
Yeah.
When you start.
And that takes after
okay.
school.
Right.
Yeah, that's after school. That I can take the next couple of ones, and the one about the COVID restrictions to be phased out. Wow, I wish I had that crystal ball. We hope I guess I was reading last night that the Pfizer vaccine for 12 to 15-year-olds, they expect that to be approved and starting to be used in May, which would basically make every 6th through 12th grade student anywhere available to get the vaccine. That will have a big impact on schools, of course. I doubt it's going to be, it's hard to say if it's going to be ready for young children, but we've had very few cases with the precautions and the things we've taken into account. I do think, I think the one thing that will probably continue is the mask wearing. I think that in the building, and we even have it outside, but I think that may change. But it will really just depend on numbers in Ohio and what's being recommended. And we follow all of those recommendations. So, and we've actually erred on the side of being taking more precautions and ensuring as being as safe as we can. There's also something about parents getting involved, and we love parents getting involved. And that's probably one of the things. We've had all the kids on campus, but we haven't allowed parents to come in. And so 2 weeks ago, exactly like 2 weeks ago right now, we were doing a live cast, Brelly and I, and we were wandering all over the lower school and Forest Friday and in different classrooms, kind of showing parents what a typical day looks like in our life of COVID. But normally we would say, please come in at lunch when it's your child's birthday. You come in and enjoy lunch with him or her. You can come in at other times, reading stories. Maybe Molly, you can talk about how kindergarten utilizes and encourages parents to take part.
Yeah, in kindergarten, we have parties. And so we like to have parent volunteers for parties. And we have field trips where we often like to have parent volunteers. And then just, parents will often ask, what do you need? And so, being able to come in and help with special projects, stuff like that.
You can be a library volunteer. We kind of have a motto, you've got the time, we've got a job. So it pretty much will happen that way. Our school really can't function without the parents. This has been, I think, a tough year without that. I've noticed in different grades, if we divide for math groups, parents will come in and take some of those. Or we've had when the little kids are giving a presentation and need to practice, parents will come and volunteer and listen to them. So we're used to seeing parents around our school a lot.
They have snack volunteers where you bring snacks to the classroom.
Right.
We have a parent book club where parents are encouraged to, we meet in the mornings, and now we meet by Zoom, but we meet and discuss some parenting book or article. We have parent coffees where we talk about different curricular things we're doing. So there's lots and lots to do. There's Friday night football games, which in many school districts, are mainly involve the high school kids and families. These are all, a Friday night home football game is one of the special things. This is my 4th year here, and that was one of the things when I joined. They're like, wait till it's a Friday night, wait till you experience your first Friday night home football game. And the little kids are, of course, all here, middle school kids, upper school kids. There's some tailgates that go on. Each grade level has a tailgate where the kids and parents mingle and have pizza before the game. And it's just a great community event. We've done a camp out in the lower school. We've got 231 acres. So we've done camp outs before football games and different events. So we really encourage and want to get parents involved. Let's see, I think I'm missing a few questions though.
Start of school. Somebody said they missed that. School officially starts at 8:05, but kids can be here at 7, goes till 3:20, but kids can be here till 6 o'clock.
Team sports. Yeah, team sports start in, I believe it's the 5th grade has some, and I believe 4th grade has some as well for basketball. And 3rd as well, Molly, you say? Okay. We have a PACA, our Parents Association. They run, currently coordinate and parents are coaches. And so there's basketball, there's lacrosse, there's football, soccer. Am I missing one? Basketball, lacrosse, yeah. And so those take
Field
place in
hockey,
practice.
there's
Field hockey, yeah.
Field hockey, yeah.
So, yeah, so those are some of the team sports that they have that you can take, you can participate in.
Will they be competing once they're older, like middle school age, against other local schools. As Gahanna has their own football team, baseball, et cetera. Will they be within that same realm to compete against other schools?
I think so. In with our PACA, I know I've gone to a soccer game and watched our kids play New Albany. So Molly, I think you've got a.
Yeah, like for lacrosse this year, we've played Bexley, Pickerington. We're gonna play New Albany this weekend. So they even get to experience that. My daughter's in 5th grade. And on the 5th and 6th grade team, they get to play different schools. So it's been pretty neat.
I know it makes silly, but that was very that was an important part. So I appreciate that.
There's a question, will new lower school students have the opportunity to tour the campus before the first day of instruction? So you are welcome to come and tour or walk the trails here on campus anytime. We recommend doing that on the weekends, just to avoid kind of running into other groups of students and whatnot. But yes, you are welcome to come and tour the outdoors anytime on the weekend. Thinking about inside right now, we are not having families come into the building, just the students are coming in right now. But in our normal setting, what we would do at the beginning of the school year is we have an ice cream social the day before school starts. And that involves ice cream outside, meeting your teachers and your classmates, but it also involves coming into the classroom and seeing the space the night before, and dropping off supplies and seeing where your seat is, where your cubby is, all of those fun things. So yes, our goal is to be back to doing that in a normal way when we start the new school year, because we know it's important for the kids to kind of be able to envision where they're going and what it's going to look like before they come in for that first day of school.
And I can talk a little bit about, you will be receiving a host family for new families, and those people are invaluable to you. They'll make certain touches during the summer months. They'll call you initially, and this is just a person to rely on. There may be questions that you want to ask that you don't want to ask us on the inside, that a parent would be happy to answer for you. But it's just a person to touch base with. And so that will be helpful as well. And that should be forthcoming. And a new parent packet. You're probably going to get more things from us than you care to in the next month or so. A lot of papers that'll be being sent and good stuff, either electronically. Most of it we're trying to this year, but you will have a point person besides us, but always know that you can call us as well too, if you have any questions.
I see any Ohio mandated test the kids have to take. So as I mentioned, we don't, as an independent school, we're not required to do like the tests that Ohio lower school, middle school, upper school students do. We take one called the ERB, which is a standardized test. I think I mentioned this. And that's one that we give starting in 3rd grade. And that's really the one where we get a lot of information, and it shows how your child's doing, and also how they compare to other students in not only Ohio that are taking it, but throughout the US. So that's a big one. And then Bradley, maybe you want to talk a little bit about some of the, you can talk a little bit about the assessments kids for the reading that we do, the BAS, if that might be helpful too.
Yeah, and then we, starting in kindergarten all the way through 5th grade, we use the benchmark assessment system, which aligns, it's by Fountas and Pinnell. They are the people who have put together the reading materials we use in the classroom for the guided reading that Molly was speaking about earlier. The Fountas and Pinnell benchmark assessment system gives us a really good look at what the children are doing as readers. It looks at the strategies they're using. It looks at their comprehension of what they're reading. And we use that 3 times a year at set times. So everybody's doing the BAS. It's a one-on-one assessment where the teachers are reading with the children individually. And it's basically reading a book and having a conversation about it. And teachers are taking notes on it. And we use that to make sure everybody's on track. And then the Envisions math program has assessments built into it. It has a pre-test and a post-test for each unit. Molly, do you want to talk a little bit about what that looks like in kindergarten? And it's the same really through the rest of the grades in lower school.
Yes, were you talking about the math?
Yeah, envision the
Yes.
pre-test and the post-test kinds of
Yes,
things.
definitely. And the pre-assessment, it gives us an idea with the content that we're getting ready to teach, how deep do we need to dive into it? Especially in the beginning, there's a strong focus on, base 10 and we start with 0 to 5, but sometimes, your group is in a place where you can lightly touch on the lessons and then move on to the next topic. And then after each topic, we give an assessment, like a post-assessment. And that is just like a check-in to make sure, yep, they got all the concepts, they understand what we're doing, and they're ready to move forward. And those have been really helpful. We can give those electronically and we can give those with paper. So, if you feel like it's the beginning of the year and the kids aren't real familiar with using the iPads for that, we give it to them with paper. But then later in the year, they can start to do their assessments on the iPad.
So a lot of progress monitoring is going on throughout the time too, in all of the grade levels. The teachers are really just doing a lot of watching and listening and learning and note-taking in addition to some of the more standardized ways of assessing.
I see something about homework. The two types of homework, the one is like the family projects, and those only come home a couple times a year. It's when we have 3 of them. We have an All About Me poster that you get to do with your child, and then we do the family turkey project, and then we do the American flag project. And then the other homework is the take home books. So it's when on a Monday, we will send home a pouch and it'll have 2 to 3 books at their level, and they get to read those with you throughout the week and then bring them back on Friday. So that's it.
And for kind of as your child moves up through the lower school, we kind of use the 10 minutes per grade level per night. So 3rd grade, 30 minutes, 5th grade, 50 minutes. That can fluctuate at different times during the year, but that's kind of, if a student is sitting down and focused and minimal distractions, then that's what you can kind of assume for homework.
I am going to have to say goodbye just because I have another, and I apologize for that. Thank you so much. I think we have one last question there about dress code. Also, I can have, we send out a recording of this to all of you, and we can include the trail map. So if you do come out on campus, I'll make sure that Nancy, who is our genius in the office as far as getting material out to you we'll be glad to send that. So thank you, everyone. I appreciate it. And go on with that last question and have a great day and a great weekend. Thanks.
Hi, Deb. So just to quickly touch on the dress code, there is a dress code for the kindergarten students, and the dress code starts in pre-K. We'll send out really specific details about it, but it generally is khaki or navy or gray pants for boys, or shorts at certain times of the year. The girls can wear jumpers or skirts, and then polo shirts of white, light blue, navy blue, pink are the options, or even a button-down shirt is fine too. Shoes, we've really kind of left that as an open-ended thing now. We used to have a dress code for shoes. Now, most of the kids wear tennis shoes to school. We just ask that they're wearing closed-toe shoes, no flip-flops or sandals. The children do have to have socks on with their shoes. And then kindergartners are not required to wear belts. We know that there are sometimes we need to get to a restroom quickly and we're not going to have to worry about belts. So belts are optional. Anything to add to that, Molly?
No, and then on Fridays, Forest Fridays, we get to dress down. So we get to wear pretty much comfortable clothes that are hiking friendly. And we ask that you have lots of extra clothes because I'm pretty sure we go through about 4 pairs of socks a week just from getting wet or dirty. But yeah, just having extra clothes and then everything Brelly said about the dress. code.
We do have a laundry room now. We kind of put that in place a couple years ago, but those machines are cranking all the time. So extra clothes. And we do have rain pants here for the kids to wear. They're these cool waders. They look like overalls. And we have those here for the kids to wear, especially on
Now,
Friday.
So the girls are they also allowed to wear shorts and pants, or they have to
Oh, yeah.
wear?
Yes.
Okay, they are allowed as well. Okay.
Yes.
thank you.
Yeah, and we have some dates where the children can wear them. Children are allowed to wear shorts all the way up till, I want to say, Thanksgiving break,
Thanksgiving break.
and then they can from when we come back from Thanksgiving until we come back from spring break, we ask that they're either wearing long pants or the girls have tights on, or leggings, and then after spring break, everybody's allowed to wear shorts again.
Thank you.
And I just want to encourage you, feel free, we'll get that trail map out to you, but come up and we've got some brand new lower school playground equipment that was installed over spring break that the kids love, this huge spider web climbing thing. There's lots of we also have an early childhood playground for kindergarten, but that's closed during the weekends and other times. But the rest of the campus is purposely left open. You don't see the gates won't shut and things like that. Feel free to run around on the football field or the track if there aren't kids, if there's not a track meet or things like that. And then you really can just, most of the trails, if you just start following, you won't get lost for sure. So you can just kind of wander around and look around. And we're really excited about you joining in the fall. And please, as questions come up, we are here. And so don't feel like they have to wait until, a week or 2 weeks before school starts. Email us, let us know, call, and we can certainly try and answer all your questions. And I know we've all been new parents before, so it's no fun waiting a long time to get information. So please don't hesitate to reach out to us.
Yes. Yep. And Molly's heading off to Forest Friday. So thanks, Molly. Thanks for all of your time this morning and the great information.
Thank you all.
Thanks, Molly.
Take care.
And have a wonderful weekend, everybody. And thanks again for joining. And thanks, and be well. And we look forward to seeing your sons and daughters in August, if not before. So take care and enjoy this beautiful weekend.